What have you found? And also, do buy the books. There may be teachings in them. A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep. I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How do
The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down. Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty, to hell with it. Perchance you ought to just lie, sire.
Oh, how horrid! I knew something will tell me. Did you find a way to break the curse? Of course. I trust my Seminole's wards and charms kept you safe while you... All that matters is that the energies are retreating. I can already feel the curse lifting. Thank you, officer. Truly, you've brought a better psycho-emanation to this humble...
She so badly wants this to be over. It will only last a day or two, a week tops. Then her mood will sap.
All right then. All's well that ends well.
Keep coming back. That's good, officer.
The speakers below are banged up.
The shine shine on these sunglasses lasts a lot.
This screen found A to Z content. This screen found A to Z contemporaire is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days. Pry bar in hand, you take a hard swing at the window. Looks like the window might be shatterproof. You may have to rethink your approach. Another futile thunk.
This has been hard enough. No need to make it any harder.
He smashes it into the window. Droplets of glass fly everywhere, shattering over the lorry floor.
It went better than I expected. Open it from the inside.
This screen found A to Z. Pry bar. It looks like the window might be shattered. Another.
This has been.
He smashes it into the window. The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the wall. There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lower side of the seat where the toolbox. These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens. One of them particularly catches your eye. A centerfold of an oil. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy, with a hint of amberette, wafting through the bitter air of the cabin. The remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume. Probably, the actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded. This is Tijon, a starlet from the dawn of cinematography, less known for her talent than her She wasted away in a drug den called Door to the River. Not far from here, on Boogie Street, a mixture of coke, the actresses and the rear actor all smile you a warm goodbye. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been...
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least.
It has to be an advanced model to fit so many frequencies next to each other without blending them together.
For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation.
A 20-kilometer radius at least, perhaps extended by an attachable antenna.
Doesn't look like it. It's completely enough.
The ghostly actresses and the rusty toolbox. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Sandpaper? A novel technique? Yes?
Do the honors, he thinks. Connect it yourself.
Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. At least we can now ask Titus some concrete questions about it.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. The radio, voila, a stack of neatly folded papers has been stashed behind the seating fabric. You see 3 maps depicting a large metropolis.
Bonne prise.
This large map displays the elevated motorway called 881. The intake leading to Martinez. Toll booths at the intakes are marked with a circle. It looks like there are scant few ways. There, hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881. High above the massive brown and red roofs, that is Jamrock. The commuter to Couron, through the middle-income neighborhoods there, by the river, and then to Stella Maris and La Dette. This municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers underneath a sub-district called the Pop. No storm will ever drown Revachol. The great solution to the riddle. Wind. Wind rips through the empty hallways of the once great military hospital. Now just a ruin under an overgrown. The rattle of motor carriages and lorries driving through long-forgotten tunnels. The final map displays a labyrinth of service tunnels left over from the construction of Motorway 880. These service tunnels were probably used during the construction of the Looks like the smugglers have infiltrated the road network belonging to East Motor Tract.
So it would seem. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them. Hard to say. This distribution network looks certainly large, yet still vague enough. It doesn't reveal much about the Besmerti is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the inheritors of the 14 Revacholian Indo-tribes, but really they're just violent gang, with cool names like La Puta Madre and Aura Masta. It's a dark parody. It's definitely not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere on Jamrock. If it's that widespread, then Madre remains the most. Here's bad news. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they haven't ended well for the...
Lieutenant Kitsuragi is a brave man for saying Madre's name without the winces and whispers that usually accompany it.
Best not to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go over the lorry.
The stack of maps looks just like before, barely noticeable. The movie stars look silent. Slides out from the seat. It's empty, except it's an issue of Périphérique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equation.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
It's an issue of... It looks like
the Ulan frequency...
back into its nest. It shows the rusty...
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? All right, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep. Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect.
This means it's well funded.
I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequent... Oh, and the maps we found. They reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnels and access roads to stay. And last but not least, it's Ruby's cabin we found. This is an undeniable connection to the Union. Perhaps you're right. This is one connection I find a little dubious, to be honest. I prefer not to profile people.
Actually, he's not bad at it at all. He just doesn't like flimsy connections, especially of this kind.
One way or another, they seem to be. Logistically, if nothing else. But don't expect to burst this open during our stay here. At best, this is an angle we can use again. We should return to the murder case. See what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation. Sometime later, when we are done here. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madre grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either. Debrief over.
I saw you poking around in Lady Driver's lorry. She in trouble? It's that bad. Man, what should I do? What should I do to help her? Damn. I always wonder to watch yourself. Man, maybe I should just keep my head down and work on my rhymes while I can. Oh, you know. Tommy Leham's gonna be a musician. Sprechgesang, but with beats. I've got a lot of free time on the road to home.
The correct grammar is Tommy Lahom.
Tommy Lam was taken. My real name's Jerry Lafitte. Tommy's way better.
It's more him. The man taps his fingers rhythmically. All around you, rain falls on the great city. The spring thaw must be here. The snow is melting. Looking up at the sky, cold water dripping from your hat. Grey sky like great battleships. Clouds humid. Your coat shields you from the rain. Sheets of rain over the water. A flight of stairs leading in the ruins of a half-sunken sea fort crumble on an inlet beyond the Bay of Revachol. Ghosts rise into the sky. The skyscrapers of La Delta, the financial... Will you ever go there? No, you are just one of the hundreds of thousands who watch them run. Urban coastline, rain dripping off Eternite-covered roofs, cinder blocks left over from half-finished construction, a defunct research and development building, once seized by revolutionaries. Coal City, end of all line. The great gates of the industrial harbor are locked. A chill runs down your back. You shudder like an animal trying to shake water from its hide. You shudder, looking down at your feet. Dirty, you realize you have no shoes on. From the corner of his eye, the lieutenant gives your feet a worried glance. The lieutenant nods, then looks behind the gates. Heaps of supply crates, red and blue metal shipping containers, slick with rain. La Drusienne, King Dries passenger harbor. Cruise ships flanked by dock arms. Cranes, Couron, the lower middle class. Distributary after a silvery curtain of rain over the houses. You have never been there. They don't need the law east of the river. Tower blocks crowd one another. 4.46mm bullets still lodged. Hallways collapse from the mortar hits of a war that was lost long ago. The news at noon. A yard. Rain falls onto the roof of a woodshed. Filthy water pool. A traffic jam. Rain thrumming on the roofs of motor vehicles. Inside, drivers watch water. The road ascends. A raised motorway loops above the ghetto. Beneath its concrete columns, a sea of rooftops, woodwork, and tar stretches northward. 4-story buildings as
Have a brother in the cut. Where the wood at?
to be in Martinez where no one goes, at the runoff point of a long-forgotten canal, in the whitest part of town, in the shadow of the day, standing in the rain, looking north, where Jamrock Rock City stretches inland, in the rain-swept distance, above the rooftops of Jamrock, a repurposed silk mill stands. Your vision blurs. You wipe your face with your hand. The rain Coalition-era statics hang like apparitions under the cloud cover. Collapsed storm drains, old sewage systems flooded with rainwater.
This rain will not let up anytime soon. At least we are dressed for it. Let's keep moving.
The palm tree livery should be, like, pastel green. Fucking tropic shit.
I can see it. Bright as day. I can tell you who we're not. Cop. We're not snitches, flowbears, or skulls.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and... On the contrary.
The part of this presentation you want to take home with you.
Okay then, let's indulge in some intellectual exchange. These skull people are more than an authority. They're deities.
You don't know?
It's not a question. Don't get into it.
The skulls are the most vicious gang of the Besmertne.
Besmatine, or the Besmati.
The nastiest bunch of psychos
Possessing an infinite amount of fuck-all swagger, infamous for their non-verbal modus operandi.
If a skull spots you, he will pull out his dagger.
The lieutenant's voice is as calm as usual, a testament to the violence and death.
They usually occupy the burnt-out quarter in Jamrock. Or you can find them loitering around their brightly painted bottom-lighted vehicles.
I can't wait to become a skull. Bottom lights are wretched aggressive.
Murder?
Yeah, sure. We'll gladly tell you everything we know.
Also, he was hanged. He was hanged for...
Yeah, I mean...
These punks don't know anything.
Hey! Stop right there! How does one...
Ah, this sounds like epistemology. A field so occupied by thought that it begins to question thought itself. However, there is no way these young men could possibly be aware of her work.
Exactly. How can one know shit? For example, how can one be sure that they're true?
What if it's art? Or just a mere specter?
Maybe it's true. The hanged man is merely a prop in a performance. We are the audience, and the artist is hiding. The lieutenant raises an eyebrow, but does not.
Oh yeah, Cindy's a right proper skull.
Yeah, a true artist of the future. Just like...
By the way, if you see Cindy, give her our regards.
For all their nihilistic posturing, these young men are not lacking. The lieutenant on your left is unusually lenient toward them.
Oh man, yeah! We're not fucking kids, man.
Be wary of the Abyss.
Probably because of how non-verbal their mode of operation is going to be. It's a threat. But I don't. In fact, I dislike them so much I'm willing to drag you boys back to the station just to calm myself down.
Hey, there's no need for that. We're just talking here.
Yeah. Didn't you cops, like, have some questions about skulls or some shit?
The Union does their share of policing in Martinez, at least where gangs are concerned. That's why there isn't much organized crime around.
Apart from the unions themselves, of course.
Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, we are. We're not franchise skulls. Well, not yet. Once we get our name out there, we'll have a chance to join them. Because we can be just as psycho and vicious.
But in a non-threatening and definitely legal way.
We'll fuck the system from the inside later. Just be cool now. The
Right on, fuck. So what's happening now? Mm-hmm. What about them? Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a person, even though the statement has character. And I do like piss. The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined as they seem, not as they are. And, I guess, it's also about communal spirit, the future. Also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steadily moving towards basing the economy on it, attention, it is imperative that the medium itself convey the message. What I mean by this is, we are all pissed.
It seems that the young man has a certain expertise in at least one field, even if it's rather narrow.
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the one, for so-called true love, which is actually just obsession masquerading as kinship. The thrill of the chase.
I'm wondering if the poetics come with the jacket, or are
To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times, and even then it isn't certain that you'll get anything. If you blow up the lake, though, you get more fish in a shorter time. And, for time is of the essence and fleeting ever so quickly, one must think of a way to fuck the whole world. Because when one fucks everything, he fucks nothing. And that, to me, feels glorious. Sticking your dick into the void.
hate to admit it, but in a weird way, he's got a point. Is it a coincidence that here we have two badass jackets and two badass cops?
Yes? What is? What are you implying? I'm not sure I understand you, detective. Neither. Fine, if only to end this discussion. Theoretically, if I were a juvenile delinquent, if I were to already be down that path, I think peace is the stronger of the two statements. Seems about right, especially considering your heroic...
That's an origin story for a dynamic duo.
So are we done here? Or you don't need us around for your secret whisper party, do you? That ride is...
Hey, piss. Look who it is.
That ride is...
Hey, piss.
These guys aren't scary. You're not scary. I have nothing to work with here. It's
Why? Yeah, like he said, total shit.
You didn't say that. The lieutenant looks down at his bomber jacket and shrugs.
Fine. Fuck it. Here. Take it then. I can't handle.
It's true. He simply can't. It's called... Wow. I did not see that.
Fuck that. You're not getting mine. My dad's a lawyer in La Delta.
No, he won't.
The lieutenant is lightly amused by the situation.
No. He's like a... Like, you know what, cop? Fuck you. That's not...
Fuck him. We don't need his rich dad jacket anyway.
That ride is.
Hey, piss...
No, no, no. Don't ask anything. Be subtle and scary. The boys dream about being skulls. Use that. Suggest they're massive skulls. Come on.
What? No. Skulls don't have kings. I think. And we're not even in yet.
Yeah, man, keep your voice down. Skulls don't take it lightly when folks pretend to be them. We're not even prospects.
Prospect must be a hierarchical term. Probably in the lower end.
Wow, you boys are ambitious. Only prospects and already planning a coup in the skulls. You're destined to go far.
He gets it. Passive-aggressive flattery.
Shut the fuck up. Are you trying to get us killed?
Now bring it to the jackets and, yes, start shouting.
Please be quiet. What? What do you want? The jackets?
You got it. No need for cruelty.
Fuck you, man. Take them then. Oh, man. Okay. I get it.
Fuck.
The lieutenant watches the boys take their jackets off with mild amusement.
I'm absolutely okay with not having either one, thank you. This case doesn't require us to go undercover or raise hell.
Cold-hearted cop.
The jackets are meant to complete each other. If a man was standing alone on a street corner with his written on his back, it'd just be an individual that has taken a liking to you, Ryan. And
I don't know, Eric. It's cold out.
Yeah, let's get out of here. The cops fucked us.
Good. Yes, my eyes on the harbor have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't really matter, and I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pine...
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout, most likely. That would...
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be...
The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now, I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands. Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an... They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply an opening gambit, like you suggested, or a joke even. Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into...
Who are they, exactly?
Crenel, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an...
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of them... He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenel contractors carry... It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynch...
What is the nature of this?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
Investigation upon investigation here in Martinez, racing towards some dark deadline.
It is very far from disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn...
They would have to project strength.
The debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be a task.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Seraï's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000.
These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most, as I said, a bloodbath.
It appears you found it, yes. And I'm not happy for you.
It doesn't have to be like this, Lieutenant W. Frater Dubois. One single, concrete suspect delivered into civil court, a good one, and I may be able to defuse this situation. Not much. Their public resume is relatively good. As far as private military contractors go, they boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operation...
Meaning they're used to operating.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors. Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil. I wouldn't go as far as to...
It's the expression she objects to.
Yes.
She picked a strange hill to die on. Strike. She's silent.
What is the purpose of this, detective?
Paramilitary death squad is a bit rich. But yes, were it up to me, I would have at least vetted them more thoroughly. Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell. I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do,
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot test the remaining contractors. Their tribunal. That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit.
This does not come as news to us, but still. To your knowledge, where did this assault take place?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. Good. Then you've made progress. It's imperative that you move fast. The tribunal will not be patient. If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. Lely. His service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one. He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw.
This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. And Classier also mentioned it, I believe. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent. Orani. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once. They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're likely to be armed. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
Somehow, I doubt that lecturing them on the legitimate use of force will persuade them to stand down. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg.
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the...
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a shortwave at the ship's wheel. I hope I can answer it better. Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. It's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else, of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, she wears fingerless gloves. Her fingernails are cut short and fractured, like...
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her...
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they're close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The Silk, quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart.
The old world passing by.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor. And these are no ports.
Somewhere in an office lit by a single green desk lamp, Captain Ptolemaeus Price, 58, bald and bespectacled, is writing in a ledger on his desk. In Martinez, looking into Krenon, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and... Vredefort? Vredefort has a military academy. The Seminoles Islands saw a recent conflict. In Revachol, he was executed.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways. Just like we don't need sailors the way...
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
His platoon members? The other contractors? Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade. Do what you have to do, Detective Dubois. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out...
We will be careful, ma'am.
Is there anything else I can...
Revacholian nationhood. The Revacholian state will be a serene place. You should get a drink. A beautiful, serene place of mystery and peace. It will not be a place for women to infect with their frailty and hysterics, or where the Seminoles will be allowed to wear their pants around their ankles. All of that will go once you get a drink. The socialist professors at the École Supérieure will be fired. The editors of Trompe le Monde will have to beg in the streets. You'll pour beer into their begging hats and laugh. You should get a beer.
You're back. Yes, my eyes on the... It doesn't...
One of the
In any case.
The lieutenant is about to interject. Exactly. But what?
Okay. In any case, I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but yes.
Since you're...
Then we're on the same page. I have an indirect role to play. I'm sad to say. They were a member of the... Absolute...
Who are they?
Crenell. They wear ceramic.
So...
The story is, he was taken out. Nothing. It's a...
What is the name?
Whether to execute...
Investigation upon investigation here in Martinez. Racing towards some dark, dead...
It is very... If you don't...
They would have to...
The Debardeur have...
Have you ever seen...
The Serai...
These men, as I said, are blood...
It appears you found it, yes. And I'm not happy for you.
It doesn't... One single concrete... Not much. They boast a long
Meaning...
Yes. All the good conflict corridors. Soup... I wouldn't go...
It's the expression.
Yes.
She picked a strange... She's...
What is the purpose of this, detective?
Paramilitary death squad is a bit... Sadly, if you still have...
Do you know a lot?
In my line of work, I have.
She's being truthful.
Or he didn't. The remain... That the man...
This does not...
Last Sunday... Either way, he's alleged to have set good. If you mean did I... Lely. His service name, and not... He was for...
These matches...
In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak. They've gone... They don't have this...
Vigilantes. You're a
Somehow, I doubt that lecturing them on the legitimate use of force will persuade them to stand down. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that...
This is so embarrassing. You have no idea. There's something wrong with your brain. Luckily, the lieutenant still has his.
You're back. Yes, my eyes on the harbor have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't...
One of the
In any case, is...
The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. Exactly. But what?
Okay. In any case, I wouldn't normally break protocol. Yes.
Since you're...
Then we're on the same page. As grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play. They were a member of the...
Who are they?
Crenell. They wear ceramic...
So...
The story is, he was taken out. Nothing. It's a...
What is the need?
Whether to execute...
Investigation upon investigation here in Martinez. Racing towards some dark deadline.
It is very... If you don't pick...
They would have
The débardeur.
Have you ever seen...
the Serai.
These men, as I said,
It appears you found it, yes.
it doesn't... One single concrete suspect delivered into... Not much. They boast a long...
Me.
Yes. All the good conflict corridor. I wouldn't...
It's the...
Yes.
She picked a strange hill to die. She sighed.
What is the purpose?
Paramilitary death squad. Sadly, if you still have access to...
Do you know a...
In my line of work, I have.
She's being truthful.
Or he didn't. The remaining... That the man...
This does not...
Last Sunday, either way, he's alleged to have... Good. Then you've made proof. If you meet Lely, he was 40.
This match...
He, in a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it until the...
They don't rip...
Not on this It's a matter of days. I am sorry to have been... You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Of course. They've gone... They don't have the...
Vigilantes.
Somehow, I doubt that lecturing them on the legit... You're likely to run into them eventually. When that...
One is the other has a vantage point.
That may be so.
For all your talk of ever...
Of course it...
Your concern.
That would have...
Where is your radio?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a short wave at the ship's wheel. I hope I can answer it better. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. Of course.
For about... She will...
It was taken with a frigate.
Her mouth...
I can't. Port cities. On the oceans. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the DeLorean century. As early as 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. The sailors sold quite a few.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, Revachol.
The old.
You said you...
I can't.
Somewhere in an office in Martinez, Vredefort. Vredefort has a military academy. The Seminese Islands saw a recent conflict.
That makes...
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade. Do what you have to...
We will be careful, ma'am.
Is there anything else I... The waves are beginning to die down.
Why does she care about the waves so much?
What is it with waves and fishermen? We need to be out there with them, fishing. But until that happens, I can try to assist you the best I can. So, what will it be, officer?
Tequila sunset. Let me take a sip to moisten up my chords. Hey, let's not jump ahead of her. You got here on word on the...
It is. The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He's listening as casually as he can.
It was a late Saturday. One moment.
Do you remember this?
Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of ears. Anyway, there was a... sounded like someone...
3 men are standing on a wooden platform extending out from the shore of a dilapidated fishing village. Their cheeks red, spirits high, bears in hand, eye.
What we saw was a sight to behold. A beat up. The time. The time hath come for tequila sunset. The end of all things. Yeah.
The muscles in your right leg.
We ran towards the ice whilst you crawled your way out, miraculously unhurt. Covered. When we finally got there, you...
In this way, you and...
Recognizing we asked about the whole tequila sunset thing, and you told... Yeah, ours. It was an all... How they're beautiful and also...
Wow.
Yeah.
If you only knew.
You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got fucked real hard, and that we've all been fucked too. Tequila sunset. Hey, you got here word on the street.
It is. The lieutenant's brow is...
It was a late Saturday night when we, the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, were getting our drink on. Nothing remarkable about this. We get our drink on 24. One moment we hear the sound of a...
Do you...
Naturally, loud noises pique the... Anyway, sounded like someone jumped...
3 men are standing on a wooden platform extending out.
What we saw was... The time hath come. So natural. The time hath come for tequila sunset. The end of all things. Yeah,
The must
we ran when we
in this way.
recognize. We asked about the whole tequila sunset thing. Yeah, our. How there.
Wow.
Yeah,
If you want.
you were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got fucked real hard. Tequila sunset. Mm-hmm. Let me take a sip to moisten up my chords. Hey, you got here on word on the street.
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed.
It was a late set. One moment.
Do you
Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of ears. That's just the reality we're in. Anyway, sounded like
3 men?
what we saw. The time hath come. So, the time hath come for tequila sunset. The end of all. Yeah,
The muscles
we ran when we finally got
in this way.
recognizing. We asked about the whole tequila sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now, and insisted that we all call you that from then on. Yeah, our. How the.
Wow.
Yeah,
If you only knew.
you were pretty vague about it, but.
Please don't open that door.
No one's fucked me. I do that.
It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through some shit. Beside your gun and your badge, you said something about your hope or heart or some. In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? That's a big one. You told us that they were a bunch of fucking losers whose main interest was cramping your style.
It's more like you.
No specifics, though. It was more about you that night. You were the... Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time. And that you didn't need anyone to do it. You're doing it so...
A lot of cops go solo and hermit once they reach that level of alcoholism.
It's not meant as a joke. He's sorry for the hermit cop.
Yeah, you kept talking about how the coal mine owners were fucking us all. I didn't agree with you, by the way. The spectral hand of the market makes sure everyone gets exactly what they deserve. You kept telling us that in your work you've seen a lot of blood, but that it's nothing compared. I believe you mentioned something about the ground cracking open to swallow cities and dreams alike. It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs. Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right. Why not? Better than a beach bum. It depends, really. Are you willing?
You might get scammed here.
No, the reality of the situation requires... Booze. Did you already forget our party? The thing I really... So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me. Not much, but it will do.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. My actual name is George. But around here, I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. a founder slash junior partner at a high. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator. Abstract. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. So I went 22 full-time employees, an all-star team, a potentially historical set of individuals. It did, with my trusty Sansaric, but now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit. One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling.
His eyes are clouded. His dilated blood vessels, his eyes are yours.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop the jangling, you see? At least, that was the plan. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet, okay? It was raining really hard. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the left. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass. Ouch, indeed. Reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying. So I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets, I realized that I'd also forgot. I rang my neighbor's buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I was... People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them.
Heavy is the head.
Just then, I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office, but when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only the Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years, and my girlfriend left me because she didn't want to date a... So, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh? Tequila, I've thought about this series of events for a long time. If there was any...
Why didn't you go to the...
Well, at one point they came to me, but, you know, I didn't have any ID on me. So they tossed me in jail. I can't say it increased my faith in the RCM. No offense, gentlemen. Me neither, Tequila. When I lost my keys, I lost more than access to my apartment. I also lost my... You can't imagine what that does to a man's confidence. Anyway, that was all the story one bottle gets you. Almost empty, this one. Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging out on a beach in this formerly premium, but now I used to own my reality situation. My business. Now I can't hang on to anything. Just like...
You of all people should empathize with this. Perhaps this lost jacket is something you could help with?
My agency, man. The Boom Boom Room. Our concept was combining high art with the... I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high concept cultural... I was financing a group of poets in East Revachol who were developing a...
Sounds intriguing. If it sounds like it makes no sense, that's because it doesn't.
I know! It was fucking awesome! Too bad I went on a jog, unleashing a cascade of doom that washed it all away. What? You've never seen 100% Lycra before? Pretty nice, huh? This might be one of the last of its kind. Should probably...
Good God. It's nearly impossible to describe how dirty this texture is. It's like rubbing two jellyfish skins together. You feel about 15% less human for having touched. Randomized trials have also found Lycra, TN, to be associated with a number of exotic, highly malignant cancers. So you also have that. And then there's the smell. But you don't even want...
Wow, you're lucky. You never...
That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosie. We're right next to the bay. You could wash them. My fellow members of the Union of Moribund Alcoholics?
Hey, tequila!
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. He's a cop.
I thought he was a cool cop.
A gurgling sound comes from the direct...
And yeah, you're already acquainted with abs. So yeah, that's basically us. We drink together. Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically... Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom Spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you say, Tequila? Nah, this isn't it. Faun, that's medium concept stuff. Totally not my style. It's a big world out there, Tequila. Lot of lost jackets in it.
Hey, Doom Spiral. Ain't that the jacket you stole the...
Not on your fucking life, Rosemary. What's wrong with you people? Like I'd be caught dead wearing Faun. Tell you what, Tequila. Why don't you just hang on to that one? I'll get another jacket.
At least you got a nice jacket for your troubles. Okay. I've been meaning to have a little chat with you. I'm glad you finally started dressing a little more like...
Your half-brother is proud to stand beside you.
You're an officer of the RCM. You know the expression, the clothes make the man? The right outfit in the right situation can make all the difference in the world. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
A warm smile.
Anyway, we should probably...
Tequila Suns. What's in a name?
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Shut up, guys. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. So you don't want to just... I do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift. Classy. The tale I'm about to tell you is an urban legend particular to Martinez. That said, I first heard it from a former bicycle courier in Koran. There are many variations on the basic story, and the details often conflict.
Are you telling the story?
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. Summer of 44. 17-year-old Gertrude Het is walking home from a late shift at the harbor. It's almost midnight.
The streets are warmed by a southerly breeze. In the harbor's dark, her cigarette is a beacon, dancing alone. The image comes...
Our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides. What she doesn't know is that her peace is about to be shattered. From behind her comes the clattering of hooves. Startled, she turns around, and what? Well, yes, but it's the man on the horse that's...
The pause.
With no head on his shoulders. Wearing a found tracksuit, searching for the legendary found cap that went missing when he lost his head.
I thought that he rode a headless pig.
Well, there are many versions of this story, the most peculiar of which has the headless found rider riding on the back of another headless man. Yes. According to legend, young Gertrude Het had to endure years of psychotherapy before she was able to... Gertrude Het may have been the first to witness the headless found rider, but she...
Tell him about the two feminists.
Fuck, Rosemary, they were dating. No one said they were feminists. Everyone always missed...
This wouldn't be...
What?
I read the case file, but...
Right. Early autumn of 46. Ulla DuPont and Eva Del... The wind picks up. A sky already dark now blackened.
Two women stand on a small outcropping of rocks. One of them is wearing a purple raincoat. Thin lines...
The women are caught in the downpour. They act quickly. Eva gathers...
Don't turn around.
When she sees something. Her shriek is so violent that the rest... But there is no lightning. Only a heavy downpour. Ulla makes a run for the shore, but Eva slips on a wet rock and Her body is never recovered. Word on the street is that she, you know, gave herself facial decon...
That part, at least more or less, correct.
See? Told you. Anyway, that's the story of the headless found rider. Pretty crazy, huh? Well, Tequila, that's part of the legend. Some say he was an undercover cop who blew his cover and got beheaded by the vicious gang he had in...
Oh, headless brother.
Others claim he was a professional jockey who veered off course during a steeplechase, ended up in somebody's backyard, and got decapitated by an Personally, I think he was just some guy who hanged himself from a really tall tree, and the fall was so... Coincidentally, at that exact moment, a horse happened to pass under him, and his beheaded corpse mounted it, where it remains...
For some reason, this does strike you as the most plausible theory of them all.
isn't it? All the pieces fit together perfectly. Anyway, to each his own. You want to hear any other stories? Yeah? Why don't you go eat shit, Tequila? There's no way you know a better one than that. Acid Gnomes? Sounds like a stupid, low-concept band name. Yeah? I have to admit, that's pretty high concept. Still not as awesome as... Yeah? Giants? That the best you got? Yeah? Damn right it doesn't. So why don't you just shut up and leave it to the master?
Hard to argue with that, I suppose.
That's the reality situation for you. You think you got a handle on it, then blam! It throws some wild shit at you. No one knows. Some say he stalks Martinez to this day, and can be seen...
He won't, though, because it's just a stupid...
Aye. I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
Some kind of superstar. They say the world isn't ready for a rock and roll cop. No one wants their state monopoly on violence to be mixed with celebrity worship. They claim to know it would be dangerous for detectives to rise to the ranks of demigods and have sexual encounters with barely legal cover girls. It would be insane, they say. To all this, you say, fuck off and die, in a cool voice. You people have no idea how good these cops are gonna get. They're gonna crack 20 cases a day. In the future, cops will be like astrophysicists, or prime ministers, or prophets. And you're the first one.
Tequila Sunset. I do, but as you can see, classy. The tale I'm about... There are many...
Are you...
Shut the fuck...
The streets in the harbor.
Our heroine... What she doesn't know is that her piece is... Well, yeah...
The pause.
With no head on his shoulders. Wearing a found tracksuit. Searching for the legendary found cap that went...
I thought...
Well, yes. Gertrude...
Tell him about...
Fuck, Rose.
Hmm.
What?
I read the...
Right. The wind.
2 women.
The women are caught in the...
Don't turn around.
When but there is... Ula makes... Her body is never... Word on... Gave her...
That part.
See? Anyway, that's the story of the headless Faun Rider. Well, some say...
Oh, head.
Others claim personally, coincidentally.
For some reason, this does strike you as the most plausible theory of them all.
Isn't it? Anyway, to each his own.
Hard to work.
That's the Yeah? I have to admit, that's... Yeah? Acid? No? Yeah? Giants? Yeah? Damn right it doesn't. So, no one knows.
He won't.
Aye. I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
Tequila Sunset. I actually do have one. Do you have anything to fortify old Doom Spiral? Tell me you got some... Interesting. Ah, this is what they use to keep the... This last one is the most Martinet story I've ever heard. I've never heard it mentioned outside of here. At first, I thought it was a joke, to be honest. But I've been on the coast...
A shovel hits the sand somewhere behind the reeds, near an abandoned construction yard. The young men look over their shoulders suspiciously. The sound of their digging seems loud, and the...
Hey, hey! Fuck you, Tequila. Magic animals? No, man, this is serious. No, Tequila. Most people already know where they live. All kinds. I've seen archaeologists, gangsters, even a bunch of ad agency types. I'm telling you, Tequila, this thing, you know, obsessive types. Some of those expeditions come back after a week or so, looking The first time I saw one of these expeditions, I thought they were fucking with me. There was no way. I'm not even sure I should be telling you this story, to be perfectly honest. You're in a fragile state, and it might be too much for you to handle. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. But I'm warning you, it's pretty out there. Our story begins. There was this designer. His exact name is lost to history, but in life, he was a legend. Made it big in Aranya, where he did some... That is, if he even existed. Who knows? It's an urban legend, after all. Anyway, sometime later he started his own personal studio here in Martinez. And that's when he started working on some really wild stuff. I'm talking some glass-smooth, forward-looking.
A paradigm-shattering revolutionary?
But then something turned. You see, it's widely known that nose candy and pioneer graphic design. You know tequila, nose candy, the white railroad, party powder.
The kids on the streets also call it.
Or Elysium gold. For the plateau on which most of the world's supply is grown and harvested. Typical.
Sinus salt, the white.
Can't see, for its popularity among the aristocratic class of the prior century.
Along with a number of more banal street names. Blow, of course. But he's talking about cocaine, baby.
Shit, yeah, tequila. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got to understand, the work this guy was doing was so high concept that now, as you might imagine, snorting that much cocaine can't be healthy for a regular human.
Wrong. Do it all the time. All day, baby.
Hey, tequila, pay attention. The story goes that one day he was balls deep in work on what he thought would be his pièce de résistance. An advert so apparently the idea was too high concept even for this genius. He dropped dead right at his desk before he could finish. His last words are recorded to have been, "It's as white as a blizzard of cocaine." I know, tequila. I know. But the story doesn't end there. Supposedly, when they performed the autopsy, the coroner discovered nearly a...
That's almost certainly wrong again, nerd. Where there's a will, there's a way.
That's right. 250 grams of blow had accumulated in there over the years. We're talking high-grade Saramaritsian pure. Not that cut rate. There are those who believe the designer was buried with this quarter key of nose candy still lodged in his sinuses. That's what those...
The cocaine skull.
The cocaine skull. No. Wow! Here's the kicker. This designer, this lead designer of a world famous... That's why he brought his studio here, back to where it all began. And that's why they buried him here, too. Or probably further down the coast, or in some yard in Martinique.
No, my grandma always told me his grave...
This is ludicrous, and physically impossible. Sinuses can...
Now, detective. My only question is, where does one get a shovel?
The archaeologists say they want to put it in a museum. The gangsters say they want to sell it on the black market.
Bullshit. They just want to snort it. But you could beat them to it, Harry. You could snort the magic skull cocaine instead.
I'm pretty sure they all just...
And why wouldn't they, eh? Sounds like right strong stuff.
Don't listen to him or his grandma.
No, my grandma told me. I've heard other people say it too. That is...
Or maybe it's in the air, or in an ancient state.
In a pyramid? Now that would be something.
They're pretty vague about it in general. The gangsters like to claim they're looking... The archaeologists act all official about it, saying they're conducting serious research. The junkies, for some reason, are pretty upfront about it. They just say they're looking to snort some...
Honest men on an honest quest. You should join them.
By now, I'd say I know about as much about it as anyone on the coast. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on just a minute.
What?
For one, the way is blocked by that big lorry that says Delta Logistics Company on the side. And second, outfitting an expedition like that is expensive. It'd have to be a big production to do the coke. It's just not feasible within the economic and temporal frame of our current setup. Matter of fact, unless a bunch of money just...
I have to agree. We barely have what we need to solve the case we've got now. Besides, It would look extremely bad for the RCM to be caught up in something that has the word cocaine writ large on it. The PR is tricky.
Wait, maybe there's another way. Maybe...
Yeah, well, that's the reality situation for you. Who knows, though? Maybe someday we'll get our chance. Tequila? Not that I can think of, currently. That might be the case, yes. Things have really turned around for you, haven't they? You've got... Don't be shy, Tequila. Of course I'll do it. I'm your man. Your personal brand strategist, man. Now, I know I'm not your typical choice. I don't, but I've got something the others don't. I'm on your level. And as I already understand your needs, I can marry my high concept ideas with you.
Great can-do attitude. A billion real mindset. Clinically insane energy. Hire him on the spot.
No, Tequila, no. I'm a What do you need to know?
What you truly want to know is, can you really trust your entire fortune to a drunk who lost his house keys while out for a jog?
I used to be a moderately high net worth individual myself, if I can say. At the Boom Boom Room, I directed a team of talent architects. People so high...
We're going to need examples here. Just going by one of your initials doesn't cut.
Remember when Maria Capoleva caused an uproar by walking the red carpet in those slippers?
Yes, yes, we do.
That was me. I did that. We sold a lot of slippers.
All right, here we go. Miss Kapaleva, nay, Olga Grebenikova, was once known as East Revachel's premier vedette and sex symbol. Her role in director Dodo Shakan's sexploitation motion picture,
Tequila, Tequila. Whatever's going on in my reality situation doesn't have any bearings on yours. This is all about you. Drinking is the fuel to my fire. Moistens me up to ensure the high concepts have a smooth landing.
He could definitely work more on his hand-eye coordination.
Okay. Let me get a sip first. You see, net worth means nothing to the people of Martinez. Nada. Null. For them to see your wealth, to really respect that, you need to convert it into something real, something tangible. The bigger the better. The Horseback Monument. That's the center of the district. They'd have to pay attention to that. We could get your name up there in lights. Damn thing's due for a...
You're aware that monument is supposed to look like it's exploding. It doesn't need renovating.
I didn't say renovating. I said reconceptualization.
The level of conceptualizing, but what would it cost?
Nothing up front. That's because I always put the client first. My cut'll come...
We really haven't got time for this. In case you've forgotten.
And forget about contractors and the like. This job I'm handling personally. Concept and execution. Any unexpected expenses we'll take care of later. Can't let price come. That's it. I'm back! Sorry about that, my friend. This isn't about me. This is about you, of course. A chance for you to give back. I can already see it. Tequila sunset, spelled out in cathode rays, luminous against the evening sky.
This is a good moment to bring up his drinking. He'll get nothing done if he continues.
Whoa there! No need to worry about that. I've got it all under control. Besides, it helps with my creativity. Gets the business juices flowing, you know? No can do. Sorry. No, you're right. I've got to do this. I need this. All right. You know what, Tequila, you old rat? Give me half an hour, my friend. In fact, I demand you to sit down here and not move and...
The lieutenant massaged. There is little time for this.
Relax. I see you both running around like maniacs.
He turns his swollen nose to face the sun, cheeks ruddy from the biting wind.
No, Tequila. Let me take care of it.
Before you know it, the man is put down. You chat a bit with old Rose. Then, try to strike up a conversation with the lieutenant. Sits silent. The entire... Clearly, we have better things to do than sit down. After what feels like ages, you hear the fence creaking as if under a large weight. Look at him. Just look at him. It's idiot Doom Spyro. He's back, like a beast made of jaundice and fetid polypropylene. He returns locked in.
I know. Ran into some problems there. Material shortages and the like. But don't...
What an athlete. There should be a new word for drunk moves like that. Like alcoholite or gymnast. He can't even walk straight. How did he write your name in cathode rays?
Of course I am. When you're ready, and I don't think... Just head on over to the Horseback Monument. You'll see.
The lieutenant closes his notebook.
But, if there's anything else your old friend can do for you, let me know.
Motorway south. The lone vector stretches in your mind's eye into the wild pale yonder for an unimaginable...
Tequila Sunset. Not that I can... That might be... Don't be shy, Tequila. You're but I've got something the...
Great can-do attitude.
No, what?
What you truly want.
I used... At the Boom Boom...
We're going to...
Remember?
Yes.
That was...
All right, here we go.
Tequila, drinking...
He could definitely work more on it.
Okay, you see, net worth means nothing to the people of... The horse... I didn't...
But what would it cost?
Nothing...
We really haven't.
And forget about contractors and the like. That's it. Sorry, I can already...
This is a good moment.
Whoa there! No need to worry about that. No, give me half...
The lieutenant... There is little...
Relax.
He turns his swollen nose to...
No, Tequila. Let me take care of it.
Before you know, you chat a bit with. Then, the lieutenant sits clearly after what feels like ages. You hear the fence creaking as if under a large weight. Look at him. Just look at him. It's idiot Doomspyro. He's back, like a beast made of jaundice and fetid polyp.
I know.
What? He can't even walk straight.
Of course, just...
The lieutenant.
But, if there's any...
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island. It is surrounded by scaffolding that has been a matrix of metal tubes and wooden planks jut out at odd angles. There are no lights that spell out your name. No workers with calloused hands leering from above. There's not an ounce of artistry here. It's even worse than expected. This is not what that personal brand strategist of yours promised. No one even knows that you're paying for this The old king looks defiantly to the west.
Hell no. I'm just an honest scat.
It just has to be said, that was not a convincing line.
Fucking loincloth.
Loincloth? Now you see, that's not really what a scab would say, is it? Better not to press the issue further, sire.
Fucking bug.
You hear a tiny rattle, a small radio. Cracking. I'm going to interpret that as a yes. There's a tribunal, and it won't be long.
How about you fuck off now, huh?
Okay, of course.
There could be weapons aiming at us right now, somewhere above, in the buildings. The other merc. Don't push this. The man's breathing steadies, but his eyes are still narrow. Slowly, he's trying to get his right to work.
Don't think so.
Suddenly, this feels like a really, really bad idea. Wordless, he takes the photo and looks at it. Grey eyes dark, hard as a stone.
Fucking loincloths. Really did him in. Yeah. What it means.
In what must have been Seminine.
I can tell you what this one means. Only one. You want to hear what happened here? Our colonel is deep in the bush here. Deep in the fucking bush. In Benital, 41. Monsoon season.
Benital is one of the inhabited islands of the Seminese.
He spent a month behind enemy lines, scouting kipped villages. Nothing but fucking bugs and snakes for fun. Men are getting
with some strange emotion. This is about to get really graphic. last moment to back off.
Our boy. He's only a captain then, but he knows how these men think. If they don't see action soon... At dawn, he comes upon two kids, breeding in the bushes by the river. Or maybe they weren't breeding. Maybe. We shot the boy. He was useless, but the girl, she was nice. A little fat, you know, but not too old. She was quite the entertainment for the week she lasted. Expired in the hands of Sarge Mason, the kind of guy who'd make Chief there shit his pants and cry like a bitch. God, Mason couldn't let go. Cut the tits off her cold body and fucking ate them. Said primitive spirits were watching over him now. Drowned in a creek a week later.
There's a word on the tip of your tongue. Colorless, odorless. It's...
You bet it was. No, I was in the domain, in Jamrock, being a bouncer. It's just nature. This guy, he used to say evil is when nature and spirit meet in the wrong place. Fucking mask is getting sweaty. I want to take my mask off.
He's under orders, and orders are orders.
Go ahead. All right, now.
Free commerce! On the photo in your hands, the dead man's skin is studded with stars.
Tequila sunset.
No one does it better than me, eh? I was able to get it all together, and listen, I can feel it in my guts. A bright future awaits you. The one and only Tequila Sunset. You're already building great... Of course not. Your trademark will be all over it as soon as the workers can get to it. The strike's holding them up. I guarantee the papers will pick it up once it's all finished. With photos and everything. You'll be the...
Hey, your new personal brand strategist still hasn't laid off the drink.
Tequila, you know it isn't that easy yourself. I promise you, I'm working on it. What would you like them?
Here's a man who knows how to play the media by starting with the right question.
Very nice. You could be your own PR agent, Tequila. Don't spend a single brain cell worrying about it. Just leave it all to me. The final out, anything else.
Indirect modes of taxation. Turns out, those Financial Oversight Committee gangsters stuffed millions of hard-earned dividends away in the last place anyone thought to look. The hearts and minds of everyday Riversholians. You need to spread that deregulation gospel to the people. Tell them about that foreign fare tax. Preach that 98% gross burden. Preach it, preacher man. Set the brothers free. Taxes are racist.
Tequila. No one. Listen. I can. You hear that, Rosie? I'm back. And that's only the start.
Hey, you're...
Tequila, what would you...
Here's a man who knows how to play the...
Very nice. You could be your own PR. Don't spend a single... anything else.
We'll be on our way soon. Thank you again.
There's a trap in the reeds at your feet. Looks like the same one you saw Morel set before. Behind you, a ruined residential building looms over the reeds. When this district was booming, the reeds were kept at bay. Nothing obscured the freshly painted. Locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but uneaten. You see...
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down, 3 to go. I meant no offense, just...
This is the trap, Morel. The reed. It's good the cryptozoologists left. The later it gets, the colder. This trap is also full of panicked locusts.
Another empty trap. Always up for a good jog. Otherwise, would I...
The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would, and then it's gone. Almost all of it seems the sound here is detached from its source somehow. Sounds like the Pale. From recordings of the Far Pale, you can hardly hear your own breathing. You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more. Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl. The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head.
Can you hear anything?
The church just has strange acoustics.
His detached tone conceals how. Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing on its premises.
Please.
He's trying to act dismissive, but at this particular moment, he's more open than usual to the idea of paranatural phenomena. The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead. Just darkness without end. It makes your head spin. You see something hanging from the rafter. Maybe it's possible to... This is it. The scene of the party. The fire pit. Cigarettes and empty bottles all evidence it. Looks like they were here a while, judging from all the bottles. The sunken motor carriage provided them a focal point. Like a...
Looks like it. Hey, let's keep moving, detective.
Somehow, it does...
The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards.
Put your hands where I can see them.
Show me your hands. This is the pigs. Show me your hands.
Scavenged, battery-powered police lights protrude from her back. The flickering light show revealed her hand is trembling from some sort of neurodegenerative disease.
Madame, please drop the firearm immediately.
Failure to comply. Suspect is displaying aggression. Officer, under duress. I am the police. Don't move. Don't move. Hands on your head. Suspect is on the loose. Suspect at large. Officer, administer street justice at our own peril. That one extra lick with a baton or extra knee strike above.
Be careful, detective. Don't do anything.
You have to go for the gun sooner or later. Perhaps you can learn crucial facts before you do.
Officer in need of assistance. Suspect at large. Get on the ground.
Ma'am, please. We want to help you, but you need to lower that weapon.
Disturbance reported. Authorized deadly force. Sector, take the shot.
Big red key. That's code for the battering ram. Cop talk. You know this.
It's the goddamn police shitbag. Cut the pavement.
As she waves her hands, you notice familiar-looking ampoules and packets sticking out of the mountain of police. She thinks she's a police officer. Try treating her like a police officer. A lower-ranking police officer.
What? Sir?
In this moment of hesitation, she almost doesn't seem disturbed, but like someone suddenly waking from a deep sleep.
Easy. Press her too hard and she...
With a swift, poorly coordinated move, the woman slapped.
Officer compromised. Unlawful impersonation. Pigs en route.
Okay, she's actually more agitated now. My bad.
Confiscated contraband. Restricted access. 2 kilos missing. Eyewitness report compromised.
I don't think she's on drugs. Being off drugs might actually be the problem here.
Back up. Back up. Back up. Status unconfirmed.
No. No. I thought Mr. Moran. Gareth.
Aggravated assault.
There's a scenario unfolding in her head right now.
What's the situation, officer?
Law enforcement compromised. Impersonating a police officer.
Does she not believe you two are actually police officers?
Now? It's not the time.
License and registration. License and registration.
It's not a code, just disjointed words.
We can't leave. A delirious civilian is pointing a firearm at us. Your firearm. You need to solve this.
All right, this is how we do it. You hurl the tear bag in her face, already darting right, and immediately... No, that won't be necessary. Look closer. The gun, all 3 barrels, red and blue light shining through. It's not loaded.
Huh? My God, I think you're right.
Suicide bag hop. Split-second decision. Eat lead.
Oh my God.
God, I almost blew her head off.
What is this? This isn't police issue. Police weapons. Police bullets. What is this? Why did you sell me this?
She devastated. Grab the gun, right now. This might be your only...
No one ever cares anymore.
This linden-headed machine of pain and undignified suffering is grinding to a halt. Tired of walking the desert.
Oh, yeah. I need to figure out what to do with her now.
Nobody's ever around. Nobody ever comes to visit me.
She's in a stupor. I've seen this before. God knows for how long. Could be days when they get like this. Honestly, I don't know. Dementia, probably. Dementia and Channel 8, and loneliness. Could be. Her hands were trembling, and she did seem uncoordinated. But what are we gonna do with her? I don't think she actually... You're right, of course. This could have been very bad. I don't think there's any need for that. In her... We could let Titus know. This is a perfect problem for the local peacekeepers to handle. They might even know her family. Okay, that settles it. I'll contact my station after we wrap it up for the day. But I think we're done here for now.
Please, leave the radio on.
Reflex to what? Being left alone. She stands motionless, just a heap of clothes and flashes now. The woman stands slumped. She looks, it's one of those things, there were narcotics in there too. You're thinking of taking them. You take the vial of Pyrrolidon and the bottle of speed. She didn't consume them. She didn't look high. She confiscated them.
You're taking...
Listen to him, for once.
Sure. I guess that's fine.
The old woman doesn't react. She doesn't even flinch, as...
Oh, is that your...
It's hard to say. It's been so long since you wore yours.
It's your hat.
The woman is one of the... There were narcotics in there too. You take the... She didn't consume them. She didn't look high. She... Listen to him.
Thank you. I'm doing this to help you. We need to focus on the...
He's grateful you did this. The old woman. She...
Oh.
It's hard to say. It's been so long since you wore your...
It's your hat.
The woman is one of... There were narcotics in there. You take the... She didn't. Listen to him, for once.
Right. Okay.
The woman is one of those things. There were narcotics that you take. She didn't Listen to him.
Thank you.
He's grateful you did this. The woman is one of the... There were narcotics in there. She...
Oh.
It's hard to say.
It's your hat.
The old woman. The silence in this part of the church, it's all... Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, and then it sounds like the pound. From record, you can hardly hear your own breathing. You produce... Your voice is... The lieutenant...
Can you hear anything?
The church
is detached. Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent...
Please.
He's trying to act... The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible. It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward... It's not a shadow anymore. Becoming more...
Officer, is there something up there?
Oh no. You've lost sight of... Yes. The darkness makes... You see something hanging from... Maybe it's possible to... Mazovian socio-economics. 0.000% of communism has been built. Evil child-murdering billionaires still rule the world with a shit-eating grin. All he has managed to do is make himself sad. silence in this part of the church. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, and then it sounds like the pale. You can hardly hear your own breathing. You produce, your voice is big. The lieutenant.
Can you hear any?
The church
is detached. Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent.
Please.
He's trying to act the orderly rows of ceiling panels become weird. It's like there's something moving up there. Yes. It's not a shadow.
Officer.
Oh no. You see something. Maybe it's possible to.
Yes?
The shadow is a man. A man made of the same stuff as the carpentry. The crab man. The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesk and a district in general. There's a sizable contingent of Villalobos-speaking Mesk.
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with it. Hey, and what was that about, the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Está crudo, way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence. And you don't even know it. I know it's hard to admit that you got a problem.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention.
If the lieutenant agrees, then maybe, just maybe, you should pay attention.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
You have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Is he just... Whatever it is, he's quite confident about it. Just look how gracefully he sways. 'Tis not an act, my liege. Save him perchance, he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita.
Viejita is grandma?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not. That.
Wait, what if it's...
Did it ever seem to you like she was hiding here from something?
You mean like a fugitive? No, man. Quite the opposite. I don't think she cared much about it.
I see. And where is she now?
I told you, Holmes. I don't know. Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests. I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she comes.
Or search through her radio computer.
Too many times, Essay.
Surveys are a good way to fish for personal information, especially in the name of public safety.
Don't sweat it, vato. The password is afterlife. That. What you think of that? Makes me almost pity la niñita pequeña when I hear it. Never known myself to be a crab, but if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it. I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that
That's not the only technique he's working on. Look at those carved sculptures. And is that a satchel of tools over there?
Sure am. Whittling wood used to be something. Now I use those same hands in service of something.
All right, let's consider the context and meaning here.
It's all just for the mother, man. No need to overthink it. I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone. That's not really the point, I say. You gotta give yourself over to...
Do you remember your name?
The lieutenant is not particularly interested in this information. He's...
Tiago's my name. But those syllables don't mean much to me these days. Your place amongst your fellas. Your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore. That's not quite right. But you're getting somewhere. Any one of us could have... We are all one who sing the mother's glory. This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly. No. There's a new god in town, and she can be painted or sculpted. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will. I will be incinerated, but not destroyed.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
It's not like that at all, man. It's just...
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you, to his very own self.
I heard that before, Way, and I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from silence?
There are drugs darker than alcohol circling your system.
I can see, and it saddens me. But devotion can save you. It saved me. She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop. The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out. No worries, man. I know this shit takes time. I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory. I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking. And the song I sing?
Marietti is a mesque style of music and dance, commonly seen at all manner of festivities. He lost his cool there for a moment. Seems you hit some nerve.
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, eh? I think they were. A long time ago, I had to shed them like skins to get closer to the center of the silence.
They look pretty dapper, actually. The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
Something like that.
Did you witness it?
Not really. Or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. I think we're done here, Esse.
That was, however, I'm still not sure whether...
The shadow, the crab man. The man
habitual.
That accent is villain.
Here you...
This man...
I'm put off. Hey, and what was that about? The bottle again? You have...
Oh yeah, sure. You don't know anything about alcohol use. You got it all under control, Way. I could smell the control all the way over here. I know it's hard to admit that you got a problem.
You know, actually, since we're here...
If the lieutenant agrees, then maybe, just maybe, you should pay attention.
You know what this is? This is the...
You have no idea whatever it is. 'Tis not an act, my liege. Save him perchance, he hath deceived his very self. This man...
Others spoke...
The Aita is...
No.
Wait.
Did it ever...
You mean like a... No, man.
I see.
I told you, Holmes. I don't really follow. I'm afraid...
Or search through her radio computer.
Too many times.
Surveys are a good...
Don't sweat about it. What you think of that? Makes me almost pity La Nilita Pequeña. Never known myself to be... I always thought of myself more like a...
That's not the only technique he's working on.
Sure, and now I...
All right. Let's consider the context and...
It's all just... I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are... That's not really the point, I say. You got it.
Do you remember?
The lieutenant is...
Tiago's my name. Your place amongst your fellas. That's not quite... We are all one. Who sing... This is... I circled it. Nurtured by the side. No. She is a cavity in the dark. I will...
That sounds a bit like...
It's not like...
Too gleeful, those words.
I heard that...
There are drugs darker than alcohol.
I can see. And it's sad. She took... The mother would eat all of you. And never... No worries, man. I know this shit takes time. I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory. I don't mean literal singing, Holmes. This is the... You may be thinking, but fire... Hard to... Been spending a lot of time here ever since. I think...
They look pretty dapper. The sinewy figure lingers on the...
Did you witness?
Not really. Oh, the ones in the tent outside? Right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab. Probably scared of me. Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore. Anyway. Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there. Might even be nice to have...
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
I think we're done here, Esse.
That was, however...
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated. The speaker comes to life.
Good evening. Votre accident. Good. Please repeat the password. Good. I have unlocked the filament. After ending the call, votre accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? sleep.
The machine's keyboard is the printer prints out a long text document with dated paragraphs. The first entry, made on the 4th, arrived at the church. The door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. The lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder.
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for quite a while.
6th of February, 51. Had a little chat with the local fishermen. Said I shouldn't go near that place, that the church was 7th of February, 51. Finally got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, a new antenna. I'm thinking,
why would anyone need any of this equipment here?
8th of February, 51. Bought the antenna, had some problems setting it up. Called Simo for help. Heard the artists, yet again, harassing citizens, stealing bad, but at least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor. They can get work anywhere. Graphic design. I just have to find out what caused that data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup, when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know. Everyone thinks it's impossible. They say I must be lying. I'm here to...
Seems like something to do with radio computers. Something about the backup data getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the author's fault. Let's just keep reading. I think these people worked in the radio computer games business, the one we saw in the Doom commercial area. They must...
12th of February, 51. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike.
The strike. We are nearing the day. Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what's that radio anomaly that...
25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now, trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in, the disappointment. But I did discover...
Is she talking about?
28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the swallow is real, and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence, with a diameter of approximately 3 meters. Seems like the higher I go, the less I record. This might be a coincidence, or it could be connected to the data loss that...
The pillar of silence. She is talking about the silence. Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk?
The lieutenant doesn't answer. March 51. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter, but now it turns out Fortunately, the song is so monotonous, I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say, that disco man must be a cell.
The girl on the ice?
March 51. I got a call from the repeater station. Someone has tried to access the radio computer in our old office in Martinez. Can't do anything about it. The storekeeper still doesn't want to let me inside the building. Thinks
I knew it wasn't a good idea.
No. It was a great idea. You're learning things. This is how you learn. March 51. A new 2-meter aux cable. Noodles. Crackers. Ping pong and... by the sound of the church door. Make straight for the radio computer.
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
Yes, you are breaking in, but not into her radio computer.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
Well, You won't find any music venue organizers here. It's just me and my computer, and it has been this way for weeks. Now please give me some room. I need 2 seconds to see.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted the machine.
Regular law official. You've done it, Harry. Whatever else you are, you're also boring now. It was not easy. You spent most of your life trying to funk up every nook and cranny of your personality. When someone says something political, the first 3 thoughts in your head are a ludicrous hodgepodge of communism, fascism, and stock tips. When they ask you why you did something, it's superstardom, apocalypse, or the mea culpas of the flagellant cop monk. It's not easy reaching for the 4th option, the normal one, but you have. And now, you're not just crazy, you're also boring. The machines keep the speak.
Good evening. Votre sexy. Good. Good. I have a votre sexy zone. Sleep.
The machine's keyboard is the printer prints out a long text from the first arrived lieutenant.
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Our case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local eccentric.
7th of February.
Why would anyone?
8th artist, but at least the art. I just have to find out what.
Seems like something about the backup data. I think these people work.
12th.
Let's try. Keep reading.
25th.
Is she talking?
28th of
the Pillar of Silence. She is talking about the silence.
The lieutenant. March. Fortunately, that disco man must be
the girl on the act.
March 51. I got a call.
I knew it wasn't.
No. March 51. Straight for the radio computer.
Breaking into my radio computer,
Yes.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
Well, you won't find any music. It's just me.
We should talk to her.
What is it? Yes. Or no.
She doesn't seem surprised to be recognized. Rather sad. Something passes over her face before she straightens her back.
I am Soona Luukkanen-Kilde, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident and RSA radios. I have over 16. If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how I can help you.
Did she say over 16 years of experience? She must have started programming when she was still a teenager.
No. Yes. And I don't care. I don't care about crap men. What? No. No one's...
She has not seen her, sire. 'Tis true.
I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything. I use the AR-1 as my RAIN prefix processing unit. RAIN prefect is my radio computer. Yes? You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you? right. Well, all radio computers perform operations up on air. So in order to gain more processing power, you need to invest on the front. The unified front of radio waves. Licensed and controlled by it's all around us. That's what...
Like love.
I guess it is. So far I've been quite satisfied with it. Martinez is an unstable region with bad coverage, but it's not the cheapest one on the market. So I wouldn't recommend it for your regular red tape operations. Fraser 1000 is a foolproof Anyway, you should do some research before you decide to buy anything. Ask around, compare the prices. There are many milieux.
She liked telling me this. It calmed her nerves.
I'm working.
The machine seems almost alien with its pulsing core. The light casting her face in a strange...
Could you just shh for a moment? Or get to the point?
It's not just rudeness. It really is hard to concentrate on whatever she needs to do. And you're not helping.
They are connected to my RAIN prefect. Whatever you do, just please...
Short and terse. There you have it. Whatever she's using them for, they're hers.
Great. You really like those questions, don't you? No, I'm not. It's just me and the crab man. I'm just doing some research. I'm looking for the location of a 2mm hole in the world.
Wait, what? She's looking for a disruption in the raid. The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything.
Yes, that's what led me here. But I suspect it might be something a bit more complicated than that. Exactly. What does it mean? Up to now, it has been impossible. What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing...
Easy. You measure it by the world around it.
Exactly. Very true. That's what I've been aiming for. That's why I have those basins. I've tried using hydro transducers to record the sound.
Ha! Hydro transducers. So that's what those water basins are.
But honestly, it's not progressing very well. Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume.
Only a faint crisscross of rafters can be made out from the dark. Most of the strange things may flourish in the dark.
There's this place at the back of the church. A place where all audible vibrations seem to decease. I've named it the Swallow. And
the Pillar of Silence? Are you sure?
Maybe. But it's oddly close to the physical coordinates of the data loss that led me to this place. I know. No, I don't.
She sounds mildly annoyed by this line of questioning. Her hands typing hundreds of commands into the machine.
Because it's just trial and error. Trying to locate the Swallow, the exact point. And I don't have a... You know what? It would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work. Great. Thanks. The Swallow, you mean? Great. Thanks. What? I hate...
I bet she hasn't even heard it.
Yeah. Like all the time. My tent neighbors don't really ease up with their partying, do they? Maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it just sounds like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with either dancing or music. This is about those speed freaks in the tent, isn't it? I've got some news for you. It's not a nightclub they want to build here. Take a guess, why don't you? I can't believe they got you so easily. Go have another talk with those up-and-coming on-
Good luck. I'm not coming in there.
Hello again. It's supposed to accept that.
The floorboards are twisting, and the shooting, there will never, not in a million years.
You know, anodic, cathodic, synthesis.
You see clear, this is an evolutionary step up from amplify.
You know, anodic, cathodic, music that's made with electronic instruments. Synthesize.
You see clear, this is an evolutionary step.
Go ahead. Oh.
She's less prone to blurt it out. Grab.
Go ahead. It's supposed to accept that.
The floorboards are. They will not in.
Go ahead.
Hi again. So, how are things going? Yes? What's the deal? Oh, man! Who is he? What did you think? Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church? No matter. Is he gonna be a problem? Yeah, Noid is right. Let's get back.
These guys will never catch him. You will never catch him. There's nothing to do.
I don't know, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice, friendly hyper time? I guess it's not a massive problem now that everyone is welcome. Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see her? A programmer? That's odd. What was she like? Did you ask her about the night? What a pity. That's my favourite thing in the world. And she... A shame. What can we do now? Do you see a way out of this jam? And into a laser-lit future of dance and unity? Unity! Dance! And you can't just evict her? Look at you, on him. No, Noid. He's right. Maybe we've approached it the wrong way after all. I'm sure there's a workaround. If that's okay with her, we only want to get in the church and spread the joy and ecstasy of music. The lines in the dark exist. Coexist. At least Crabman seems like an advanced being. He's art. Yeah, he can do his climbing thing in the tower. And the programmer, does she like anodic dance music?
Egghead cannot believe what she just said. It makes him pump the jam a little slower for...
No worries. We'll figure it out. If coexisting fails, you can always muscle her out, right? If it's all okay with you, what do you think? Excellent! Good luck, my friend. Goodbye.
What is it? I don't want to make anything work. Yes, anything.
It's not the anodic dance music that's made her bitter. It's the failure of Fortress Accident.
That's right. If we couldn't get our Welkins to happen, I don't want anything to happen. Ever again.
There's not a trace of irony in her voice. She means it. Easy. When her research is done, she can move out.
What? No, I don't really need any help with the project.
She thinks about it. A glossy look.
Alright. Bring me the game's offsite copy from my old workspace, if you really want to help. It's stored on a filament memory, and I'm unable to go and fetch it myself. No, that's the production schedule you stole and accessed without authorization. I don't need it.
In his defense, it was simply lying in the desk drawer of an abandoned...
Okay, but still. It's a backup of my former employer's project, the radio game we were working on. It's stored on a filament memory, just like the one...
She's making it extra simple for you.
The backup itself is destroyed now, but I'm hoping to use what's left of it to pinpoint the exact location of the anomaly. You just have to...
Hold on. If it's called an off-site copy, then why is it still on-site?
Oh god, not this again. It is not on-site.
Basement? Sounds like it's tech...
And no, taking it outside the building wouldn't have protected it from the data loss. There's nothing wrong with keeping the backup in the basement. What happened was a freak accident that has nothing to do with how the... We clear?
This is clearly a painful topic for her. She must have had to explain herself numerous times.
Yeah, that's the one. You can get in through the bookshop. You just have to do some explaining to the bookstore lady. Good. Then you might know the giant ice bear fridge in the building's cellar. The filament is inside the fridge. Just go and get it. In the giant ice bear fridge. I just told you. It has red glowing eyes.
But you've been to the fridge and it wasn't there. There was a note saying...
Wait. A note from whom? Did it specify where they took the filament memory? Zariza. Of course. Our project lead, Suliswov Zariza. God, he was always so hell-bent on keeping the copy somewhere safe. And feature creep, and the Valley of the Head. Like it would have made a difference. The offsite copy was perfectly safe when the data loss happened. That data loss was anomalous. And the heads... I won't even get into the heads. Millions of them. Go find that...
Valley of 1,000 Heads. You like the sound of that.
This is getting ridiculous. Can't you just defrost it? Or, I don't know.
There's a solution, but she doesn't want to hand it over to you yet. It's a thing. Something she holds dear.
The bookstore lady hates me. Says I'm part of the curse. Whatever that means. Of course not. Anyway, I don't have my keys anymore and she won't... Because she's from Martinez. And people from Martinez have never ever seen a radio computer. She thinks it emits elemental evil. Yes, but she literally started praying for the higher powers.
The lieutenant coughs like...
Once I came in one morning, only to find that my terminal was full of those strange trinkets. Thanks. And here's my Kvalsund multitool. You might need it to hack loose some ice. It opens everything. If you get me the offside copy, then you can...
It hurts a bit for her to say this. She's not too happy to be parting with the legendary Kvalsund multi-tool. This is Prybar version 2.0.
Yes? Thanks.
Hey, was there some...
Well, well. Bringing in that new bird sure...
Got the 20 real? Good. You got the room for the night, but remember...
You know, there might be other places to sleep on this. This orange machine. This orange machine is dead still. It has a... This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting. This orange machine is... Ice squeaks beneath your Kavalzund multi-tool, and it's already unplugged. There's not much else to do other than wait for it to defrost or bulk up and get stronger. An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind. An old door.
It's military. A service depot. The washerwoman mentioned a depot up the coast. She said it was for moving ammo and cargo across the bay. This might be it.
It may have been used to service an aerostatic battleship in the atmosphere, or a fortification.
From here to the whirling, I can't see how. The church is in the way.
An old door, worn by... You rattle the handle a bit, then push on the door with all your weight. It does not budge.
We don't get in there. Frankly, you're just going to have to accept...
No. We've gotten into every door thus far. That's what we do. We open doors. We're cops. That's our perk. Even Everard knew...
Yeah, I understand you. I like opening doors as much as the next guy. Relax. No one's hiding in there. If we can't open it, others can't either.
At least you can think about opening it. About doors in general. They are, after all, fundamental to your life. Perhaps something useful would come from this. trap in the reeds. The wind picks up here. Near the locusts are crawling around in the...
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down, 3 to go. I meant no offense.
Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this place as a nest for taking the shot? In the distance you can...
I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freitor. I don't see a person take a shot here and hit something there. In the whirling in rags. To warm his hands before pulling the trigger? Perhaps. But anyone could have made this. Truthfully, this seems like a very poor choice to take a 1.2 kilometer rifle shot from. Visibility is awful. There's water vapor everywhere. I think we can rule out... Biddable Prime, was it? It's not possible to climb that ladder. And even if it were, why? There's no platform.
It does look extremely rickety, and wouldn't help much either.
Those? A smoking assailant who favors Tiumutiri to Astra or Joanne? Cigarette butts are...
Tiumutiri was a Revacholian colony on Ilmaran. The Suzerainties population was mostly Ilmaran Areopagites, up to... Oh, you do? The butts you saw had a silhouette of a boy wearing a coffee hat, a tobacco picker. This boy is the Tiumutiri brand logo. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Juan, a local blend from the southern islands, or Astra. There, 1.2 kilometers over the cold water of the bay, a glowing light on the 3rd floor of the Whirling in Rags.